Since the last podcast, Avatar the Last Airbender has finally dropped on Netflix. Now, we were talking about this before when it was announced, saying we had pretty high hopes because of One Piece. And this show was looking pretty good. They had some good casting. They had the original creators behind them. And then, come to find out, the original creators dropped out due to creative differences. And I can tell why.
Oh,
half of the shit that they did for the original cartoon is not shown here.
You know, when I was defending it, I was like, so too. I'm like, nah, man, it looks cool. It's alright. It's not that bad. And then as I keep progressing, I'm like, damn. We talked about it in pre-pro. I'm sorry. Aang's pussy in the show, but like in this live action, he's pussy, and I'm not a fan of that shit. That shit is crazy.
I will defend it from the 3 episodes I watched. I'm gonna try to. Me personally, I thought the casting looked pretty good. Aang kills it. The casting for Aang, which they do a lot of times, the main character, I think they kill it. His mannerisms, he looks like Aang to me. Sounds like Aang to me. He's questioning like his role in the world and being an Avatar.
Nigga, Caillou looks like Aang. Does that mean he's the Avatar?
Come on, I'm talking. I said mannerisms. Like, come on now. Like he's acting like a kid, like Aang was. Like, come on. Like, I know all of y'all like super Avatar fans are mad this man was flying in the first episode, but to me, I don't really care about that much. I'm not looking at that too often. Like, I'm looking at the show for what it is, because there's 8 episodes. Like, this ain't your 24 episodes. This isn't book 1. This is not like a bar for bar replica with just live action. No, this is the same thing with the One Piece. Y'all are giving us a live action version, and they're trying to do their best to like compart everything, into this one little 8 episode box or whatever.
The one that's always saying, I don't want a bar for bar, scene for scene adaptation of the cartoon, because it's just not going to work out. Like, it's like having the cartoon to live action bar for bar is never going to work out. What they did do well was that casting. Uncle Iroh, I liked Zuko, I liked Katara for the most part, and I liked Suki, and I liked the Fire Lord. All good casting. There were like some questionable things. Like, one of the things Avatar does well is that they incorporate like the girl boss energy. Like, I hate seeing that in Marvel. I hate seeing that in like my True Detective shows, but I think in Avatar it's like the one place it's done well. Like,
if it in a kid show, it fits.
Yeah, it actually really fits. It's done very well. Like, in the very first episode, it's Katara and Sokka, and Sokka saying like, "Yo, you're a girl," blah blah blah. He gets schooled at Kyoshi Island. He deads that fucking attitude real quick. Katara gets us to the Water Tribe, and she can't train. And she proves to herself that, like, she proves to the master that I can. That's represented here, but it's done super poorly, because she goes to fight Master Paco and loses, but then she's now a master somehow. Like, she fights this master, loses, and now everybody's calling her Master Katara. I was like, you learned waterbending from a scroll like 4 times. What are we doing here, bro? And then some other things I have a fucking problem with, they introduce key characters into these loose ass fucking roles. It just make absolute no sense. Like, only the Avatar can go into the spirit world, but yet they drag Katara and Sokka in there with them because plot. They introduced the Owl, which is a key like character in like book 2 for the Secret Library. What are you gonna do now? And then they introduced the Ko, the Face Stealer, as like a main protagonist, like antagonist for that one episode. Aang has to leave and talk to Avatar Roku, and now the whole episode has to do with like, all right, well, Aang, this is how I defeated him. No, you didn't. You didn't defeat him. Like, it's a spirit. What are we like? Why are you changing these key concepts that don't need to be changed?
I did actually like the choreography for her and Paku's fight. It was actually damn near almost verbatim, just like how the animated scene was.
Fight scenes are good,
especially when she started throwing the ice and all that shit, and then Bud did the dodge joint, and you can see the reflection. He looked back at her crazy. Like, there were some moments in that joint where it's like, I'm not killing it all the way, but
they do some things right, like the fighting, the how. Like, shout out to Zuko. I really enjoy Zuko's fighting.
Zuko smoke.
Yeah. Way better than the fucking movie. But one thing that they just can't let go is like, they obliterated Azula. Like, that's not Azula from the show at all. Like, Azula's supposed to be like a manipulator. She does none of that. Like, she's supposed to manipulate May and Ty Lee into joining her cause, and they're just there in the background, like, yay, go Azula, you can do it, type of shit. And it's like, that's not at all what it's supposed to be. So how are you going to justify that in the later seasons when they leave her to join the Avatar squad. Like,
fair enough. Nah, it's a tad bit all over.
I actually thought like the way it started was really intense. I like that the whole Fire Lord Nation, like them showing that origin story and stuff, like how they actually like took out the whole Airbender family and shit. Even like what Roy was saying, like I like the choreography of how they actually applied like firebending and things like that, and to see people die was really cool. It's like,
she'll get burned alive with school.
It was great until they started showing like Aang and stuff talk. And I'm like, okay, I kind of see where the misfires are happening right now. And I don't know. I don't want to kill the show. I think what you're describing is they probably shot their load too early, maybe in the hopes that they'll even get a season 2. So like, let's cram as much as we can to hopefully like make sure like we have things to look forward to as well. Or like at least introduce certain characters now so we can like explore the story in a different realm. That's my thought to it right now. But yeah, I don't know. Or the action isn't bad. I think the other difference is that you guys might be watching the show with the barometer of the One Piece live action, and I'm more looking at it from the movie. My expectations were so low for this that I'm like, I don't even know if I can be disappointed at this point. Like, it only has to do so much right for me to enjoy this shit. So I'm not hating it right now, but I feel like my opinion is gonna change. Episode 1 was cool. But outside of that, I'm like, I don't like the casting either, though.
And let's not act like the One Piece live action wasn't off-putting at certain moments too. You know what I'm saying?
It was.
That's just. I think that's just live action shows for us when it comes to like, you know, going from an animated show where you can do anything to this live action, seeing a real face. Like, it's just it's hard right now in this generation. It's hard. So I think it is like you just gotta just kind of almost shut certain parts of your brain off to even watch it in the first place. It's weird. Because like you're gonna compare and you're gonna be like, yeah, this ain't that, and especially when that is from 20 years ago.
That shit is embedded up here. Like I said, it was they were just all over. Like I said, just even the whole core concept of Aang being able to just with these statues, seeing these statues, you know, automatically go to the spirit world. All places have these, you know, portal statues. I'm like, whatever. June, I'm on June's body. I'm gonna keep saying that. I liked her actress. I'm a fan of hers. And also, Sokka's joint wasn't that bad either. Sokka's, I think, was probably the best, like, portrayal character-wise.
I feel bad for DeAndre because you were the most excited for this. The last time we talked about this, I remember saying how, like, skeptical I was of the show, and you were a big proponent of like, nah, they have a lot of the fans and the creators of the cartoon like incorporated in this. I'm like, all right, man, I'll shut up, like, wait and see type of thing.
Stop being excited for stuff.
Yeah, but the consensus on the show is kind of weird though. It's kind of split. I don't really feel like people hate it all the way. People have complaints, but I don't feel like people.
And I don't want to make it seem like I hate it all the way. Like they do a lot of things good, but if you're just going to compare it from the movie to this, like, okay, like obviously the fucking show is way better. But if you're gonna like not copy the show, but compare from the show to this, is like I got some problems with some things because like, let's say you do get a season 2, how's that gonna work out now? You know, because you introduced these characters that should be in season 2 and season 1. That's like it's not gonna make sense that they're here now. Like for instance, like they do like the love tunnel thing. Why is that between Sokka and fucking her Katara?
Yeah.
They're brother and sister. There is no chemistry between Aang and Katara, literally whatsoever. Like, I'm not even convinced they like each other, bro. Like,
I mean, but that's how the show was too. To start off like book 1, like no, he's taller than him.
What does that mean?
She's like 3 years older than him.
I'm defending this. I'm defending this. No,
he showed interest
exactly.
in her. This man had no interest in girls in general. He was just a kid, which is fine. But I'm saying, like, if you're expecting to get more seasons, you have to eventually show, like, all right, they have like an interest in each other. So I'm saying, like
she real life treat that nigga like little bruh. Like,
yeah, because Katara's mom figure. That's the one thing I didn't like about Katara. She was missing that. She was missing like this little, just like this energy that she had. Like you said, Sokka vibe was completely right, but Katara's was almost too soft. Like Katara's not that soft.
I was just gonna add one side note to this. Was at least one thing to look forward to is you do have that future Avatar, like the adult cartoon, like where Aang and everybody is like an adult now. So at least you have something else to look forward to in the Avatar realm.